Hi everyone, I'm Nathan Blackwell, the co-creator and director of Voyage Trekkers. This is our Phoenix Comicon panel. That's where we're based in Phoenix, Arizona, so the Phoenix Comic-Con is our hometown Comic-Con. You'll notice on this panel that there's a minor technical hiccup at the very beginning. They didn't provide us a DVD player. And so we stall for a bit of time, but then we eventually get it going, which was great because we had a great turnout. We had about 160 people at our panel, and about half of them had never seen the show. So that's why I was sweating bullets. But once they saw the show, the energy changed, and it was a really great experience. But yeah, I think I make at one point a comment to where if we hadn't gotten the video to work, this would probably be my final public appearance. But yeah, so at the end, we also answer some Q&As from the audience. But if you weren't able to make it, you can go ahead and still ask us some questions. Just leave them in the comment section on the YouTube, on the YouTubes, and I'll get to them. So, cool. Enjoy.
What? What? Look at all these things!
Welcome to the Voyage Trekkers panel. So we have a minor technical snafu at the moment. They have not provided us with a DVD player. So those unfamiliar with the show, we are going to show the first episode of season 2 and then also a brand new episode that we haven't released yet, which is episode 4 of season 2. So that'll be coming. We may have frantic tech people running over there at some point. Who here has not seen the show before? Okay, actually, it's a good mix. So we are a sci-fi comedy. It's all locally produced. Voyage Trekkers is an all-volunteer group. We don't have any financial backing. We're fan-funded. And really we do this show because we dig it. We're all grown adults, and we think that running around in lizard masks and with ray guns is a great idea. Season 1 came out about 2 years ago, and actually it's taken us a year and a half to do season 2. But it's one of those passion projects that we really wanted to do, that everyone wanted to be a part of. It was initially just a single weekend shoot. We were just going to do a couple of episodes. It wasn't going to be a big thing. I was actually really downplaying it, and not because we had done other stuff before that just turned into huge projects. So I was like, it's really not going to be too much. It's really going to be kind of small. But it just became one of those things that was really fun. That was really fun to do. And so when we released the 10 episodes of season 1, and then we all decided we wanted to do season 2. And so the initial season 1 was all kind of like, hey, let's get together and do something fun. With season 2, we had kind of a new approach to the whole thing. It was, let's really bring our A game. It's not that we weren't trying as hard as we could in season 1, but we weren't renting equipment. We weren't really the episodes were very short. And so, with season 2, we really tried to throw everything that we could at it. So one of the things that we wanted to do is we wanted to build a bridge set for the crew. And so that was our big kind of Kickstarter campaign, was help us build a bridge set for the crew. And so we were able to do it. It was probably the hardest thing in my entire life. Who else here would agree? Anyways, so we're gonna get more into it, but before we do that, again, we're waiting on a DVD player, so those people not familiar with the show, we're gonna show you the first episode 1 and episode 4, so that'll be 10 minutes. But anyways, so I'm Nathan Blackwell. I'm the co-creator writer and director of the show. And then over here we have...
I'm Jenna Scarborough. I was acting in the last episode of season 1, and then they brought me back as kind of a,
Yeah, have you ever seen one of those ones where it's like in Star Trek The Next Generation, they'll have someone play a bit part. It's like, oh, we kind of like them, and they bring them back as a totally different character.
Yeah, I was blue before, and now I'm just not blue. So, yeah, I play Ensign Adams.
I'm Craig Curtis. I am a co-creator and co-writer. I also play General Kang in a couple of episodes, the nemesis for the Captain Sunstrike.
Casual nemesis.
I also play, in season 2, I also play Info the robot. I'm the man behind the robot suit.
I'm Logan. I play Commander Powell, debatably the worst crew member on the ship. And then I don't have enough power usually to get the ship into trouble or anything, so I guess, that's pretty much what I do.
I'm Nathan Stipes. I'm the production designer, and I do a lot of the prop work and stuff like that.
Andy built Info, along with our left here. Hi, I'm David Stipes. I'm the father of this guy, and so I'm the visual effects consultant, sometimes compositor on the show.
I think your official title is Visual Effects Supervisor.
Oh, okay. Sometimes I supervise as well, so thank you.
And so you've worked on sci-fi before this, haven't you?
A couple things, yeah.
Such as?
Okay. Great setup. All right. I worked on the last two seasons of Next Generation. I worked on the first 2 seasons of Voyager. Worked on the last 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine. Worked on a couple episodes of Enterprise. Also worked on the original V. Worked on the original Battlestar Galactica and the 70s Buck Rogers, the 25th century.
And Real Genius with Val Kilmer, one of my favorite.
Real Genius. Creep Show.
So this is your second production then?
Yeah, a couple.
Cool. So since we're going to be bringing in a laptop and showing you guys the episodes, so let's just go ahead and talk a little more how, for the people who don't know about the show, how would you describe it? It's for everyone.
Well, our primary pitch, and it's one you'll hear over and over if you hang around our booth downstairs. The basic pitch is that it is the story of the worst starship crew in the galaxy and their exploits as they try to, they're looking for adventure and they get into trouble and that they stay in trouble and sometimes dig themselves in deeper.
Anything to add, Logan? He's the talent of the show.
We're hoping to make a movie which might be difficult because usually,
So, season 1, a lot of web series don't want to state how much their budget was, but I'll totally tell you guys what season 1 cost. It was only about $2,000. So when it comes up to the 10 episodes, it was about $200 an episode. And we were able to get a production value that looked a lot better than that by having these wonderful volunteers, these really talented people, and then also just being smart enough about how we would do episodes. We were able to do more than one episode in a day by the way that the scripts were written, and just how we kind of approached it in terms of equipment, things like that. So season 1 is about 10 episodes, and they're about 2 to 5 minutes long. With season 2, we really wanted to add a little more meat to the bone. And so it's kind of like season 1 was the original series of Star Trek where you could watch it out of order. It was episodic, and so you wouldn't know if you shuffled them around too much. And then season 2 is a little more like Star Trek: The Next Generation. to where there is that episodic stuff, but there are some storylines that are actually throughout the season so that we could develop the characters a little more. And in addition to the bridge, one of the things we wanted to do was actually create a ship. So in season 1, because we didn't actually have the bridge, we didn't have the ship, everyone was on away missions. And since we're local, there was a disproportionate amount of desert planets. And so, we actually, in episode 4 of season 1, there's actually an episode that's in a jungle, and that was shot at the Phoenix Zoo. With permission. I used to work there. That was one of my part-time jobs, and so we still had some favors left. With season 2, we really wanted, with their ship, there was an important thing of us being actually to see the characters in their home, in their home environment. And so that was one of the big reasons. I mean, obviously there's like a big wow factor for having the bridge and having the ship. But more importantly, if you kind of look at this like a TV show, which a lot of web series are kind of compared to, kind of like web TV, is that you want to kind of return to the world, you want to return to the characters, and so having them actually at their home base when they're in their normal dynamic was really appealing to me. Let's see. Since we're still kind of stalling of it. Question over there.
Give a quick rundown of the major characters?
Oh, good. So he's helping me out. Okay, so anyways, the show is about, so it's the GSV Remarkable. It's similar to Star Trek, but it's not the same. It's a fictional universe. We're basically kind of like the sibling of Galaxy Quest, We have the same parent as Star Trek, but we, like them, created a fictional universe that had a lot of similarities and connections to it, but yet we would have enough liberty to kind of invent some new stuff, new costumes, and kind of interject maybe a little Flash Gordon into it. But the main captain, Captain Sunstrike, is the captain of the GSV Remarkable, which is the, quote, worst starship in the galaxy. So the whole idea is that they're part of the Galactic Union, which is like a normal spacefaring, it's like the Federation, to where you've got people who know what they're doing, And these guys are not those people. Basically, what's revealed, this is a little bit of a spoiler, not huge, but in season 2, we find out that Captain Sunstrike is not the only Captain Sunstrike. His older brother is basically like Kirk. So this is like the adventures of Rob Kirk, And so his older brother is the famous one, and then you start to piece together, oh, that's how he got his ship. And so the GSV Remarkable is basically the dumping ground for like the worst officers in the Galactic Union. Because they can't fire him, he's famous, he's part of a famous family, but they kind of put the problem crew members on this ship. Dr. Rena, that's his it's almost kind of his second in charge. She's the doctor. She's really kind of the conscience of the group.
She's a fox.
And she's a fox. Yeah. That's not the character you play, is that correct? Okay, so you're not plugging yourself.
Nope.
You're also a fox. So Dr. Rena is kind of the vocal. She's kind of the conscience of the group. But she's not without her own faults. And then Commander Powell, who's the real second in charge, played by Logan Blackwell right there. He's the first officer, and he's kind of like the willing, how would you call him? Nonchalant, the willingly complicit.
Uncaring.
Second officer.
Would you just say like awkward in general?
Right, exactly. So. Okay, cool. We got the laptop coming in. The original dynamic of the three was in part kind of inspired by Star Trek, but we wanted to make sure that the three characters were not like this guy is Spock, or this person is McCoy. We wanted to make sure that the three characters were not a metaphor or kind of like a parody of the other ones.
Logan? Are you on your lunch break from work? Are you on your lunch break from work?
That was yesterday.
Yesterday, Logan popped by on his lunch break and then left, and that was it. Pretty dedicated guy.
He's all business.
He's a little party too. Good party.
Got a question?
Well, I was just gonna say, so basically the show is like, for what it is to Star Trek, Venture Brothers is to Johnny Quest, just kind of a spin-off.
In a strong sense, absolutely. There is a certain underlining theme of failure in both shows. Our Voyage Trekkers crew is set in a universe that is, it's supposed to be a real universe. The universe is not the joke. It's these guys who are the fumbling idiots of this universe. So it's very much a sense of ineptitude with this crew, and it's not by accident either. They're basically given this archaic starship that is 80 plus years old. It's run down. All the others of that kind have just been completely demolished. It's useless. It's just.
So it's like a Firefly.
Yeah, it's just completely outdated, and they just put all of their problem officers, all of their problem crew members, anyone that their family's too famous to fire, or they just can't fire them, or
I
for
thought
whatever
of
reason.
myself as like an intern.
Yes, and Ensign Adams is there basically on what is the equivalent of the GI Bill, so that she can go to her liberal arts college after her tour of duty.
There's someone back there.
Just curious, have you ever heard of the anime called, it's kind of old, called The Irresponsible Captain Tyler?
No.
It's kind of the same plot, but this guy keeps getting promoted because this admiral wants to see him fail, and then he keeps like not failing by accident.
Our characters are not that successful.
I know you're not supposed to be direct parodies, but how would Commander Powell compare himself to Commander Riker?
Good question. Andrew?
I can't grow a beard.
I had to do an accent for season 2 for just a split second, and I was telling Nathan, I can't do an accent. He was like, perfect, you want it to be a bad accent. And I was like, I can't even do a bad accent, like nothing close. So when he wanted me to do like a Cockney kind of thing, and it came out kind of Scottish. He owes me like 1 million lunches for doing that. I can't do it. But he was like, no, we can't do a Scottish accent because we don't want you to be like me. We don't want anyone to think we're...
And the thing is, you have like maybe 2 or 3 lines in that episode, and one of them is with an accent. So if all you heard was that line, you might think that character has that accent. So if that comes
I
out,
did a good job.
you did a very good job because
Nailed it!
Ensign Adams, the Cockney/Australian lady in the back of the bridge, when she pops back up later in the season, people are going to be upset that, wait a minute, what happened to her accent?
Bring it back.
Tough.
That was the thing, though. I could only say it in my line because I walked around my house saying it over and over again. Ooh, technology.
Blackwell.
On with the show.
Yeah, if this didn't work out, this would be my final public appearance.
Maybe it thinks we're its mother, and it's trying to feed. And it has a wiener-shaped mouth.
Captain, don't you think that you should inform your entire crew of the ship's current situation?
Of course, Admiral. Attention all, this is your captain speaking. As you can tell, we are experiencing some very rhythmic turbulence at the moment. The suggestion is that none of us panic, just lay back and think of the Galactic Union until it's all over.
I may not understand humor, but this is funny.
So please turn the television
We are on YouTube. So yeah, if you check us out if you go to YouTube and you check us out at Voyage Trekkers, that's our channel name. That's where you can find these episodes. So all of season 1 is on there, and when we release season 2, we're in season 2 right now, and we release every other week now. It was originally every week, but then we realized we needed more time to do the visual effects for episode 10. We had so many, there's so many visual effects. We're trying to really give you guys something really cool for the season finale. It's basically going to be our characters in like a live or die ship-to-ship combat situation. And so there's so many effects for the season finale, it's gonna take us more time to do it. So we're going to every other week. However, every single week we're still gonna release a video, but it'll be stuff like behind the scenes.
Yay!
Yeah, I noticed they're all, they're all great little bits. Do you see yourself in the future doing more linear, fuller episodes, or do you like sticking to the short, quick, and connected kind of segments?
Okay. Well, we'd love to do a chance to do fuller episodes. Obviously, we're kind of limited in terms of budget and time and resources to do anything bigger than a web series right now. But down the road, we'd absolutely love to get a chance to do some either fuller episodes or at least a larger story. And we'll hopefully work towards that eventually. But for now, we're showing the, I guess, the choicest cuts of what would be considered a longer episode, but we're just seeing the best parts of individual episodes right now with this, with season 1 and season 2.
Oh, and one of the things with season 1, the season finale is a choose your own adventure. You can actually choose at 2 different points what direction the story goes. And so our idea to kind of up the ante for season 2 was to actually do a 4-part story. So episodes 7, 8, 9, and 10 for the season 2 finale is actually one solid story that kind of comes together like it's a half-hour TV episode.
Yeah, you mentioned you had a budget of around $2,000
for season 1, yeah.
Yeah, yet the music that I was listening to was pretty cool. Like the whole process of music, like with that kind of budget, how did you deal with like the orchestration? Like who wrote the music?
Friends in High Places.
You want to talk about that?
Friends in High Places. The composer's name is Michael Markowski. He's just kind of our friend. He's actually like a renowned, like, what does he do basically?
He's really well known in actually band music, and so like college stuff and high school stuff.
Yeah, he had like a grant when he was like in high school or something. Like he's serious business, guys. Like we're not like and he got what college was it? NAU?
Yeah, so that, for the very first episode, what you were hearing was actually a 59-piece orchestra. And they are based in Macedonia, and they charge by the hour. And so he was able to record the very first episode and our main theme with them. And so for all the other episodes, it's the same level of quality, but he's doing it on his computer. So yeah, obviously, and then also for the season finale, we recorded the soundtrack at NAU with their wind orchestra. It's a student orchestra, but it was a really cool experience to record the season finale all with live musicians. So yeah, that was a really awesome experience.
And that's kind of the structure of the whole show is just, we have lots of friends.
Yeah, not one person on this show has been paid, including myself. We just all do it because we want to do it, and I think that's an important part to the experience. Before I answer the next question, the gentleman over there, I want the other cast and crew who are in the audience to go ahead and stand up. We've actually got our admiral and then the terrorized Logan. And then the terrorist who is killed over there. Thank you guys.
They are among us.
They're everywhere.
We had a question over there.
Yeah, I was just going to ask, the bridge actually looked like, it's really full size, you can move around on it. build something like that without like needing a full auditorium?
David, you want to get that one?
Not where we built it. Yeah, we wound up building it in a machine shop that Nathan had an opportunity to talk to the person and got them to loan us the machine shop for free. The guy had a huge work area in there, but free isn't always the best way. If I can speak out of turn here slightly. As it turned out, we wound up working on this thing, needing lots of time, all weekends, and some of the, like Mondays and Tuesday nights and things when we had time off. Only we start getting interrupted by people having weddings at a machine shop. We actually got shut down for a wedding. And then a volunteer group moved in next door wanting a ultra clean environment, but they're in a machine shop. And so then they were complaining about our dust and everything. So it became kind of a challenge. But we have Kenneth Backer out here. Kenneth,
Our construction manager.
Yeah, he supervised. He masterminded and supervised the construction of this set. It was 25 foot by 25 foot and about 8.5, 9 feet tall. It was just an amazing piece of work, and it was brutal. It took 3 months of weekends to put this thing together.
Didn't you say that it was larger than one of the Star Trek bridges? Or as large?
Yeah, it was almost as large. Yeah, the Star Trek bridges were more wide, but yeah, it was pretty intimidating and pretty daunting, and pretty massive and pretty cool when it was all finished. And so we had a lot of great work in there.
Nate, tell us about some of the work that went into like designing specific like stuff. Like where did we get some of the things that actually made like the textures and shapes?
A lot of that was just scavenged from Goodwill, bits and pieces of dead electronics, things like that. We found a pretty cool place called Apache Reclamation Exchange. And we went over there, we bought a whole bunch of little buttons and lighty things and dollar store LED book lights and all kinds of just things like that.
Dollar store was amazing.
Dollar store was pretty.
Yeah, dollar store lights are your best friend until you realize they're only designed to last for like 3 hours.
Change the batteries. Right. Battery runs.
Kenneth also found a lot of great lighting resources, especially lighting. You have to import them from China, I believe it is. But there were absolutely amazing things, and it turns out it's a lot of the same kind of resources that the people on Iron Man are using for their lighting effects. So.
And the Dr. Arena's station where she's got a big monitor, that's just my living room TV.
What I thought was really funny was Nathan would call cut, and then they'd start building again. It was still happening, like, while they were filming. They were like, okay, but that's the next place we gotta shoot, so you guys gotta get that done. They're just, like, working their butts off. It was amazing.
Yeah, that is one downside to getting something for free, is usually it becomes 2 or 3 times more stressful if you're suddenly not paying for it and you're not in a situation where you can make, like, certain understandable demands. You have to work around what they allow you to have. And so it actually does put you in a situation to where they can then retract that offer. However, that being said, it was an amazing experience, and we probably, if we hadn't shot in that machine shop, I don't know how we could have done it. I don't know if we would have had the opportunity to actually do that. So I don't regret the situation. I just regret that we didn't have more money.
Yeah, it was, and so we were able to get it done.
Yeah, it was still, so in defense of them, it was still a wonderful thing that they helped us out with.
The guy that owned the machine shop, he had various stresses put on him, but here we are building this thing with table saws and sanders and things, and then the other people who were trying to rent the place were complaining about the dust, so then we're not allowed to use the saws. Then we weren't allowed to use spray paint, and it's like, what? How are we gonna build this thing?
We're over there dusting off the desks every time we saw it in here.
Yeah, it was, we're
Yeah, we-
going into their space, cleaning their stuff up.
We never told, but we snuck over to their side and cleaned up their things.
Yeah, but not Brian, but Nathan Blackwell, he wound up having to sacrifice the plaque. You know, on the Star Trek sets, they always had a launch plaque that talked about all the people and named the ship. Well, we actually had one for the Remarkable, and that got sacrificed to the guy who owned the company just to keep him placated.
Yeah, but we were happy to do that because
Yeah.
he did us a big favor. So.
There was a pretty cool issue with humidity also. That was fun. The set was actually warping while we were building it. So our flats wouldn't fit together right and everything. We're like, oh god, Bondo and spackle and things.
I have a question right there.
Well, since you guys have some experience working with the students up at NAU, have you thought of reaching out to maybe one of the theater interns? You're living in a giant college town, get some more free labor.
Yeah, well, David Stipes actually teaches at the Art Institute of Phoenix, and he teaches visual effects, and so he's got access to, here, why don't you talk about it?
Well, we've had, how many people we've had over there? 25, 35 students, probably on the last few.
Maybe not that many, but close.
But I mean, overall, not all at once.
Right.
But we had a lot of visual effects students, we've had animation students, we've had film students who are there. Some of them are just really, really amazing. We had, like for example, Arlette Para right here is one of our students. One of our fellows who just left a minute ago is doing the matte painting. He's one of my matte painting visual effects.
If you like the costumes, like her.
Yeah, right. It's Arlette Para right here. Yeah. So we had a number of students, and I keep constantly bringing them into the projects, and they come in and do, some work just a few hours or work a day and they go away. Some just stay on, like Chad Breaker, who is relentlessly determined to keep working on the show. And it just winds up working out pretty well.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So as to the actors and actresses, did you go through any casting process, or was it just a few friends you pulled offered the role?
Any actors want to answer that question?
What was the question?
How were people cast? Was it a casting?
Nathan made me. He actually did. He was like, hey, so I wrote something for you. Oh, okay. And that was it. You know, he's made so many wonderful. We met in film school, and you just kind of see the work that a person's done, and you want to be a part of it, and you let them know that, and then they say, okay, for free, right? Yes, okay. So that was my experience. My friend wanted help, and I wanted to help. I wanted to be a part of it. But I mean, mostly you worked with everyone before. Plus, your brother. He has to do whatever you say.
Yeah, I remember being asked or even being told, probably just like, oh, we're shooting Voyage Trackers, show up at this time.
You need to clear the third Saturday of this month.
You don't say no. You don't say no to something like this.
You don't say no to Nathan Blackwell. It's actually the kind of thing when we were originally coming up with the series, for the most part, we came up with, we had people in mind for the roles, and we kind of built the characters around what we knew they could do. Captain Sunstrike was really kind of built around Adam, and most especially Commander Powell was most certainly Logan Blackwell. I mean, even now when we work on scripts and stuff, so often if Nathan and I are working on something, we'll say, and then Logan does this, and Logan, Commander Powell does this. It's just, he has become enmeshed in the role. And so, so much of the time we like to find people we like to work with, and we build the character that we want them to play to their strengths and their most effective use.
Yeah, there's actually not, initially we just wanted to work with people we wanted to work with. We'd done a lot of short films. Squishy Studios, our production company, we've been making short films under that banner since 2007. SquishyStudios.com.
And so we've worked with a lot of people, and so we knew who were fun to work with, who were good at what they did, and we just cast Voyage Trekkers with those people. We didn't do an audition. It was like, hey, Gabby, do you want to do this? And it's like, yeah, okay. And then for like some of the other characters that we've brought on board, like Jenna's Ensign Adams, I had known her, and I actually did create the character around her personality, and that's one of the things
Angsty teenager.
yeah. And
That's what he thinks.
right, and as we continue to do other stuff, we probably will do an audition, but there's actually not too many parts. If you saw, there's actually only a couple of speaking parts, and one of the things, I mean, you can take an actor is kind of like a unique crystal, and you have to kind of use their strengths and their advantages in it, and not kind of chip away and bash until you kind of have what you wanted. You have to use what they do really well to their advantage. It's like Logan is Logan. Logan delivers his stuff in a very specific way, and instead of treating that as a disadvantage, you can use it to push it even further and bring more comedy out of that kind of stuff.
I wanted to add something here. I'm kind of maybe pushing out a little bit on the edge of this. Some of you may be thinking about trying to put together your own projects, that sort of thing. One of the things that does happen with Nathan Blackwell, he's not paying me to say this, by the way, but people want to work with him because he's a nice guy, he has creative projects, his projects are fun. So if you're interested in doing projects of your own, what's that?
And they get done.
And they get done, they're not just hot air. So if you're interested in doing projects of your own, you want to be like that. You want to be the person with the vision, with an idea, who does get things done, and who is a nice enough person that you want to be with them, and you want to hang around with them, you want to support them. And that's the way that I feel about Nathan Blackwell, and I think a lot of people do, because people come out of the woodwork wanting to help him. He's got people from all over the world that are trying to either directly help him or else offering to help him. So.
The effects stuff came from Australia.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was pretty cool.
Yeah, he was just a. Thank you so much, David. Oh. But the gentleman who does the visual effects for the starship, like the actual CG model, he was just a fan of season 1, and he lives in Australia, and he basically sent me an email saying, hey, I really want to be a part of this. Here's an example of my work. And I looked at the example, and I'm like, yes.
And you get, I'm sorry, I forget your name. But last year you were here at Comicon and you said, I want to help, right? And he just said, I want to help. And then he helped build the bridge. I mean, you guys have a lot of fan support. Like, that's kind of, I think, if you guys want to hint.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say, good point, because I showed up just for a few hours one Sunday to help paint the set, right?
Yeah.
Nathan wasn't just sitting around like this big director bossing people around. He was dusting, he was cleaning up the dust and pushing the garbage around and everything himself. He was working harder than everybody else there. That's how you lead.
Yeah. Aww.
Okay, I'm gonna get a picture of you guys. Do you want to be in my picture?
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna do a panorama.
Lots of energy.
Ready? All right, here we go. You ready? Okay. There we go. It's gonna go on our Facebook. So I need to slow down. People are walking. Why are you doing that? And then it goes that way. There we go. Awesome. Well, we've got to wrap this up. Unfortunately, we're done at 4. Check us out on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. Voyage Trekkers on Facebook. If you have any questions about the show, or if you have any questions about web series, like if you're making your own, just go ahead and send me a message on our Voyage Trekkers Facebook. I'm the one who manages it. Thank you guys so much for coming out.
Also, yeah, I wanted to let everyone know, if you like the Voyage Trekkers, you can also check out the Voyage Trekkers novella, which is available as an ebook on iBooks, Kindle, or
VoyageTrekkers.com.
or VoyageTrekkers.com. It's free except for Amazon. You have to charge 99 cents for Amazon.
Wait,
It's on
don't
the
leave.
choice.
I have something to
But
say.
yeah, you can check that out.
There's also a booth.
Yes, so we are here. We're going directly to our booth.
Look what I got at the booth.
If you're interested, we are selling season 1 DVDs there, and the posters. And if you sign up for our newsletter, you get a free button.
Buttons are sweet.
We are right. Our booth is over by the Honky Tonk Man. we're near the big 2500 banner, so come check us out. Thanks, guys, so much.